Coming up on today's episode, I'm making Starch Solution compliant Instapot Sloppy Joes with my own vegan coleslaw. That's right. Let's get to the intro. Welcome back to another episode of Plant-Based Dads. I'm Joey. If you haven't visited us before, we are a vegan family channel. We do some cooking, we do some product reviews. Lately we're doing the Starch Solution. We do a little bit of DIY because I like to do things myself, and sometimes there's some baking with Tim. If you like what you hear, please hit that like button, show us some love, and please think about subscribing and becoming part of that Plant-Based Dads family. So if you're with us for a while, you know that I'm doing the Starch Solution. It's a way of eating where you eat high carbs and low fat and you lose weight. I know it's the nightmare of every keto person, but this is what we do and it absolutely works. I've lost 30 pounds on it and I absolutely love being able to eat what I want and not feeling hungry. If you're following us on Instagram or Facebook, we're currently in the middle of the 21-day 50-50 Starch Solution Challenge. We have 1 week left from today, and it's a bunch of people who are doing the Starch Solution, the 50-50 plate. I'll have a link right up here to what that means, and posting our photos of what we're eating, sharing ideas, cheering each other on. If you're on Facebook, join us, Plant-Based Dads, Starch Solution Enthusiasts. Send me a join request, and we'll let you in, and we'll get started. It's a lot of fun, and I absolutely recommend it if you're trying to make the Starch Solution work for you. All right, so today's episode is a lot of fun. We're going to be making sloppy joes that are Starch Solution compliant in the Instapot, but I'll show you some directions for the cooktop too if you don't have the Instapot. And we're gonna make our own vegan coleslaw to put on top of it that's absolutely delicious. Now, there is a recipe for sloppy joes in this book. I made that one first. No. So we're gonna use my recipe that I've been using for a few years. I absolutely love this recipe. My family loves it. You're gonna love it too. It's a lentil-based recipe, and it's all made from standard items that you'll have in your fridge or your pantry. All right, I can't wait to show this to you. Let's get to the food. All right, so you can see here we're starting out with the Instapot. Go ahead and set it to saute and give it a few minutes to heat up. Here I am throwing in a few tablespoons of water because I'm gonna use water to saute the vegetables. After a few minutes, you'll see the water start to steam. That's a great time to start adding the veggies. I'm starting with 1 white or yellow onion diced. Then I'm tossing in 1 bell pepper diced. After that, I've got 1 poblano pepper diced and seeds removed. And I'm gonna add a teaspoon of salt to get those veggies sweating. I'm gonna mix this all up to combine and then kind of pat it down to make sure it's all touching the element. And then I'm gonna let this sweat for about 4 to 5 minutes until the onions turn translucent. All right, as you're sauteing this over the 5 minutes, make sure it doesn't burn. Remember, you're using water to saute, not oil. The water will evaporate, so you may need to add a few more drops of water just to keep it from sticking. Don't add too much water, that'll change the temperature of the pan, but just enough so it doesn't burn. All right, after 5 minutes, and now that the onions are translucent, I'm gonna add in my spices. Right here, I've got 1 tablespoon of ground cumin, and you can see I'm putting in a teaspoon of dried oregano, and I'm gonna mix those spices in to kind of get them combined. Now I'm adding 3 tablespoons of tomato paste. This is just out of one of those squeezed tubes, and I'm gonna stir to get the tomato paste nice and combined, and you can turn off the Instapot. Now I'm gonna add 1 cup of green or brown lentils. I did rinse these. They're not cooked, they're just wet because I rinsed them. And now I'm adding 1 cup of red lentils, again, just rinsed. Now I'm adding 3 cups of filtered water. And I'm gonna stir this to get it all combined. Now I'm tossing in 2 tablespoons of vegan Worcestershire sauce. I know I'm not saying that right, sorry. I'm using this bottle right here, it's the Robbie's brand. And now I'm adding in 2 tablespoons of maple syrup. Now it's time for 2 tablespoons of ACV, otherwise known as apple cider vinegar. And I'm gonna give this a nice good stir. This is kind of the last point where I'm stirring. All right, for the last ingredient, I'm tossing in a 28-ounce can of fire-roasted crushed tomatoes from Muir Glen. You do not wanna stir this. You wanna dump in the can of tomatoes and leave it in there. Here's the brand I'm using right here. So don't stir this. Put the cover on without stirring, lock it in place, set the valve to sealing position, and you're gonna set this to manual high pressure cooking for 13 minutes. When the 13 minutes is up, you'll let the steam release naturally. You'll know it's ready to open when the pressure indicator drops below the cover. Once that happens, it's safe to open. Open the pot up, and now you can go in there with your spatula and give it a really good stir. Look how good that looks, guys. Perfect consistency for sloppy joes. It's kind of saucy, kind of chunky, I mean, it's absolutely beautiful. Look at that. It's ready to eat. All right, now it's time to make the coleslaw. We started with a small bowl and we're putting in 2/3 of a cup of vegan mayo. This is the Starch solution mayo. I have a link right here to that video. Now we're adding 2 tablespoons of ACV, apple cider vinegar. Next, I'm throwing in a tablespoon of Dijon mustard. I love saying that. Now we're putting in 2 teaspoons of organic cane sugar. And we're gonna sprinkle in about a teaspoon of celery salt. I'm also going to add some fresh ground pepper to taste. And now I'm going to start whisking this up just to get all this combined. This is going to be my dressing for the coleslaw. All right, now I'm grabbing a much bigger bowl. I'm going to start putting in my ingredients in for the coleslaw. You can see here that I've got some beautiful shredded green cabbage. And now I'm also going to add some beautiful shredded red cabbage. And I've also got some carrots I've shredded up. By the way, these are the ingredients for my spring rolls. And I'm going to add the dressing right on top. It almost looks like it's not really enough dressing, but it is. Now I start folding it in because it's really thick. So I'm going to kind of get it a little combined, and once it starts getting really moist, then I can kind of move it around the bowl a lot better. And you can see here, it's ready to go. It looks beautiful. I'm going to give it a little taste, and it looks like I need a little bit more salt and pepper. So I'm going to add that in right here, and then I'm going to mix it up again just to make sure we're ready to go. And now it's time to start plating. I've toasted up 2 homemade sourdough buns, and I'm going to start spooning the sloppy joe mixture right on top. Next, I'm going to add the coleslaw we just made on top of the sloppy joe mixture. And then you got to put a vegetable here because this is just a starch right here. So I'm going to put some Brussels sprouts. And now I'm drizzling the Brussels sprouts with some balsamic vinegar on top. All right, look how great that looks. A beautiful sandwich with a great vegetable, tasty and ready to go. I am so ready to dig in. I got a nice piece of toasted bread. Tim makes his own bread, so we have rolls or bread all the time, sourdough rolls. So these are Starch Solution compliant rolls. I told him to make a video on this. We're working on that. But he does have a bread recipe right here on the Baking with Tim series. You can use that to make your own rolls. So we've got the rolls and the sloppy joe lentil on top, and then the coleslaw. I can't wait to dig into this and tell you how it tastes. All right, so this is a really good dish to make ahead on Sunday nights for the week. This recipe makes quite a bit. You just have the coleslaw on hand, you have the sloppy joe mix on hand, you have some buns or something, or if you don't need a bun, that's fine. You just heat it up in the microwave for 60 seconds, a little bowl of it. Throw it on top of your sandwich. The coleslaw doesn't need to be heated up. Serve it with some broccoli or some Brussels sprouts like I did in the video. It's good to go. One of my favorite meals, so filling, and a great way to get your lentils in. All right, that's our episode for today. Instapot, Starch Solution, Sloppy Joes. If you like what you see, please hit that like button. Show us some love. What's not to like? If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button, become part of the Plant-Based Dads family, and click that bell. You'll get notified every time we have a new video, usually every Monday. And please leave a comment below. How are you doing on the Starch Solution? Have you had Sloppy Joes? Have you made the recipe out of the book? I didn't really care for it. Are you doing the 21-day challenges with us in the group? Are you on this journey with me? Let me know. I hate doing stuff by myself. Let's do this together. All right, guys, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.